Last month, I was taking a walk in Los Angeles when I came across one of those neighborhood signs. This one said Brookside, but I didn't see a brook anywhere. And when I got home and looked on Google Earth, I didn't see a brook anywhere there either. Little did I know that this moment of confusion would lead me down a rabbit hole. A rabbit hole to blog posts from 2008, knocking on random people's doors, sending my editor John into strange sewage pipes, and so much more. I'm going to take you along on that journey so that we can discover LA's lost creeks. Okay, let's start at the beginning. Now, most people probably think LA is a desert, and I don't blame them. Even if you live in LA, driving around, it's not like there are rivers everywhere. In fact, the only river you ever do see, if you manage to find it, is the LA River, which basically looks like a giant storm drain. But it does rain in LA, more than in a desert, and before LA was there, all that rain had to flow to the ocean. And it turns out that it did so in creeks, and not just a few, but like dozens and dozens of creeks. How did I find this out? Well, after I saw that Brookside sign, I went home and I was like, why the heck is Brookside called that? So I ended up going down a rabbit hole where I came upon a blog post from 2008 by a guy named Militant Angelino. Great resource, by the way. I've read him before. Link in the description. Anyway, this old blog post, he basically mentions Brookside in passing and saying, well, yeah, there used to be this creek here called Arroyo de los Jardines. And the comment section, some people were saying, hey, I bike through this neighborhood every day, and at this one specific intersection, there's a puddle that's always there, and maybe that's part of it. But beyond that, that was basically all the information. I then was able to link from there to a research group. Now, they made a map where they recreated all of the old stream beds and even marshlands that existed, overlaid on a modern map. But that was also pretty old. It was from a LA Weekly article. And I thought, someone really should go and document this. What is left of these creeks? Is any water still flowing? Can you see anything above ground? And if it's not above ground, can we gain access underground? And the reason that this is such a question that's up in the air is because a lot of these creeks, as LA expanded, were simply built over. In the 20s and 30s, private developers still had the rights to simply cover up these creeks, which is what they did. And to this day, even the county storm drain maps, a lot of the paths are labeled unknown, meaning they don't know when it was built or where it goes. And even though nobody knows where these creeks go, we are going to find out. Before we go explore what's left of the creeks in Los Angeles, I thought it'd be useful to look at a relatively untouched natural California creek, not that far from LA, just so that we could get a nice picture of what these creeks might have once looked like. To get an idea of what that might have looked like, here in this creek, 100 miles north of LA, you can see the amount of water here. For people from rainy areas, sure, this isn't a river, but this is enough water to support year-long oak and sycamore woodlands that would have been very biodiverse back in the day. Look at this. This is really cool. Okay, so this is a great example of how creeks shift over time. You see this is a large berm of rocks and dirt that was actually deposited a few seasons ago when there was very heavy rains. And you can see that the creek is shifting this way. The old creek bed is over there. And that's because creeks, they don't stay in one place, rivers and creeks. They meander across the landscape over time. And they get bendier and then stretch out. And this is actually one of the reasons that the creeks in Los Angeles were put into pipes, into permanent concrete channels, because when creeks meander over time, they need room to breathe, and so you can't build right up to them. And when they flood, it destroys businesses. And so in LA, basically 100 years ago, the engineers and planners decided it was better to just cover these things up and allow more room for growth than to give them some space to breathe and allow them to meander across the landscape as they naturally would. I just wanted to show how amazingly clear and beautiful this water is. Check this out. Sometimes we forget, living in Los Angeles, that just an hour outside of town, you can find streams that flow as clearly as glass. And look, you can see right down to the bottom here, native species. This is a toyon bush. And you can see here with its evergreen leaves and red berries, it looks kind of like a holly. And so a fun fact is that Hollywood is actually named after this bush. There used to be a whole grove of them where Hollywood is today, perhaps around the very creek that we're about to explore. In order to start, we've come to what I hope is one of the... Wait, dude, look at this gentleman. All right. So, anyway, so I've been told, using my treasure maps and my internet sleuthing, that the source of this creek is somewhere around here at the top of the Wilshire Country Club. So what we have here, 1894 map, we're following this creek here. Okay, so here's where we're gonna go. So this is a map of where the creeks used to go, overlaid.
I see.
Right, so, all right. And then this is the 1894 map overlaid with the modern map. So what we want to do...
So where are we headed exactly?
We're heading here to the start of this creek. So we are walking along. Obviously we can't go inside because it's very exclusive. But armed with this obnoxious selfie stick, we're gonna attempt to peer over the fence. There's a clearing here. So according to the map, the creeks should be like right on the other side of this. Wait. I see a bridge. There it is.
Okay,
Look. That is a bridge. That is a bridge. Look at that. And they're doing a bunch of work around it too. Okay, so let's see if we can get a better... It looks like we're trying to figure out where some Hollywood star is at this exclusive club, but we're literally just looking for some puddles. So the creek has been rerouted by the country club. If we look at our old map, it used to start here. And actually what's really interesting is you can see that the road dips down and then comes back up. And as we know, wherever there's a low point, that's where water flows. So that might be the old creek bed. This is a good sign, okay? Ignore the two bottom phrases. Bank, okay? Like river bank. So that's very good. That's a good omen. So let's check out this low point. There are two storm drains on either side of the road, which say no dumping leads to ocean. That's good. Good sign. I will, for the record, note that this storm drain is not big enough for me to crawl in. If it was, you know I would do that, guys. But yeah, I can't fit in there. Also, it's broken. It is. Okay, so we're gonna keep going, follow this creek, and we're gonna see where we can finally find some signs of water. Now we're here on this pork chop, which is this horrible place surrounded by cars. We're gonna cross Beverly. Because, okay, you see how Beverly slopes down here? So according to Google Maps, this is where the creek, right at that low point, is where the creek crosses Beverly. And hopefully we're gonna be able to look over the fence and actually see the creek itself. We found the first real signs of the creek here on Beverly. Sorry for the incredibly loud car noise. It's died down for a second here. So we're standing on top of the bridge. And you can see for the thousands of people who drive across this spot every day, they have absolutely no idea that they are driving over a running creek. There's actually running water. Now, I don't know how much of this is runoff from golf course sprinklers, but to be honest, it doesn't look like they're watering the golf course right now. And so it looks like at least some of it's natural. And this is a good sign because it means the further down we go, hopefully there's even more running water. And here's the traffic. So the beautiful sounds of the LA Creek here. Jesus, this sidewalk is so narrow. I feel like if I stick out my hand, it's gonna get whacked off by an SUV. All right, let's get the hell out of here, bro. Oh, the closest crosswalk is a mile away, okay? Oh, okay. Oh, there's more creek. That's what's important. That's what we're here for. It was at this point that John and I had followed the creek down the bottom of the country club, and we found an entrance big enough for him to fit into to continue following the creek down a tunnel. Once John was in the tunnel, we split up. I decided to continue trying to follow the old creek bed along surface streets by using the elevation and of course my treasure maps, and John went down into the tunnel hoping to meet me somewhere down creek. I've left John in the storm drain.
Hey guys, I'm here underneath the manhole cover in the storm drain.
And I'm attempting to follow above ground and meet up with him wherever it reappears, which I know is totally wild.
It's pretty ominous stuff. Creek's running that way. Here I am, waiting for Sully. I think I've walked about half a mile. So, yeah.
Okay. I found some puddling and a drains to ocean storm drain. Very mucky, which tells me there's probably almost always water here. All right, let's see if we can hear John. Hey, John!
Here we are on the storm drain. So it's kind of
John!
above. Creek.
All right, I've got to move on. I'm getting very strange looks from the locals. I don't blame them. I've been playing Tijuana brass into a storm drain in the hopes that John recognizes good music. John! Hello? Wait, dude, that's nuts. I'm literally in the road right now. Okay, wait a second. John can hear me, guys. Let me turn on the mic. I'm yelling into a storm drain. Oh my gosh. 1 second. Okay. How do you know where you are?
Because I'm in a street, like a curbside drain.
Okay, wait.
That's where I am.
Oh, dude. Dude, here you are. What the? Wait, do that again. What the hell? Oh, guys, I found John. Look where he is, guys. Holy yes! Oh my god. John is literally in the drain. Look at, you're underneath some of the nicest houses in Los Angeles. Oh my god, wait, I gotta, oh my gosh.
It was pretty scary down there, man.
Okay, I want to give context for where he is right now. You are literally in the drain. Oh my god. Well, basically, here, John, why don't you give us a wave? It looks like I'm just talking to a storm drain. I like how even if you wanted to, at this point, you could not escape. Oh my god. Wait, can you lift up the manhole cover? Oh, you're doing it. Is it? I don't know. Well, I'm up here enjoying this beautiful sunshine, an absolutely lovely day here in Los Angeles, in one of the nicest neighborhoods. I mean, just look at these beautiful homes. Great single family home. Anyway, I'm up here getting to enjoy this lovely LA weather while my poor friend John, well, my poor friend John is crawling through a drain somewhere beneath me.
Look at these tar streaks, dude. Streaming down. Wow.
Honestly, he's having all the fun. But okay, I'm going uphill now. So what I think is going on is that the drain must go beneath these homes, and they must have regraded. It was very popular back then, especially for a neighborhood that they were trying to market this exclusively, to have the homes raised above the street like this. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did some artificial grading here. But they obviously had to significantly modify. I mean, the creek would have had some kind of channel that it flowed along. But we're coming up on Wilshire, one of the biggest streets in LA, and we're going to see if we can find John's escape. He's gonna resurface, I think, in someone's backyard.
Here we are in the tunnels. There seems to really be no end in sight here. The walls have become a little more cubed.
Wilshire Boulevard, folks. And John is somewhere beneath our feet.
Looks like we got a pristine little water here. Look at that. The creek is still as thriving as ever. Beautiful.
Now I've lost sight of exactly where this creek went. But look, there's another low point, you see? Definitely a low point there. So I'm gonna go down there and hope that that's where the creek goes.
What in the elephant's foot is this, dude? Holy God. Gross.
Where's this coming from? Wow. Ooh, look at that. It bubbles up. Very interesting. Very interesting. All right, John, I'm coming for you, buddy. Stay on course, stay on course. I know. Okay, I've found the block where John is going to resurface. There's this abandoned building here. Not really sure what that is. And then here is a school. Definitely don't want to sneak in there. Yeah, definitely not that. Don't want to do that.
I'm gonna go with my better judgment here and turn around, because I kind of expected there to be an exit, but there isn't one. So this was pretty cool, but I want to get back on solid ground. I want to get back to the overworld. So
I'm here with, what's your name?
Daryl Random.
And you're a teacher at Larchmark Charter.
Yes.
And what do you teach?
I teach edible schoolyard.
So this creek stuff is interesting to you.
It is interesting to me.
Not just the street name. So La Cienega is named after the marsh.
Yeah.
But the property lines were put in when the creeks were still there.
Okay.
So you can kind of trace where the creeks were, because the property lines and the streets are a
Yeah.
little bit funny. You notice how like this block is a bit funny shaped?
Yes.
That's because of the creek.
Well, also this hill, as we come down, like I'm building a garden over there, and
Yeah.
and our streets are, look at this. This is like 6 months old, and it just keeps cracking.
Right.
And it's such an odd building too. It was built in the 60s, and there's like this weird shelter in there. Like, you know what I mean?
Right,
You know,
right.
obviously. But it's
Yeah.
just, I was wondering what was here before, because it's just such an odd piece of land.
Yeah. At this point, John had come out of the tunnel, and we had rejoined, and then we went back down to where we thought the tunnel must let out based on our research. And the only way that we were going to find the creek at this point was to cold knock on some houses. Hi there. Sorry to bother you on a Sunday. I am filming a video about the lost creeks of LA. And I know that there's a creek that runs here. Is there any chance I could get a shot of it from your backyard? I know it's a random question.
No, sure.
Okay. Awesome. Okay.
I can tell you a little bit about it.
And that's my editor. He and I have been following this creek since its source. So yeah, it turned out literally the first house I knocked at, this wonderful older guy named Craig answered the door and was incredibly enthusiastic, not only about showing us the creek, but actually answering tons of questions we had about it.
Actually, my wife has an incredible collection of both stream maps, and we have a lot of narrative too.
Okay.
Because there was 22 houses.
Apparently all these different creeks ran down, and that top portion of Bayona Creek was a marsh called La Cienega.
Yeah.
So
Yep,
apparently it was,
yeah.
and that was marshy all year. So there would have been all kinds of birds and other species hanging out there.
Yeah. So I first found out about this. You know, I didn't discover it. It was just common knowledge among the people who live in the 22 houses that connects this portion of the perennial streams.
Mm-hmm.
And so 32 years ago, I met somebody, and we saw the back of her house, and I was like, this is what I've always wanted, you know, a city and a little bit of country.
Yeah.
And so I said, if you ever hear of a house coming up for sale, I'll buy it. And it did, and I did.
Wow, I love it. So you're living here because of the creek.
Absolutely.
That's really cool, actually.
I would shrink my house by 50% if I could, but
Yeah.
I mean, it worked well, and I have a bunch of kids here.
No, I love that. That's so cool. When his wife came home, it turns out she had already done a ton of research, including a study that her neighborhood had commissioned, which was not online anywhere, which revealed even more interesting data about this creek than anyone has ever seen to date, including a hidden natural spring that is still bubbling up out of the ground. But if you want to see that, you're going to have to tune into part 2. We've seen the creek in Craig's house, so I feel like we don't need to stop at every single house to get shots of it. So we've come across what looks like a condemned house, which I honestly did not know existed in LA. But yeah,
that's crazy.
I want to see if this piano works. Because that looks like...
Is there creek real estate in the back?
Ready?
Yeah. Oh, it's nice and tuned. No.
We're exploring the creek. We're exploring the creek. No matter what they want us to do,
We'll find that creek.
Armed with nothing but a selfie stick and their intrepid courage.
This property is protected by the good Lord, a Doberman, and a gun.
Our fearless travelers journey across the streets of Los Angeles.
If you come here to steal or harm, you might meet all three.
Looking hot.
There it is.
It's right up there.
She's me white whale.